my little fuzzy bat butts. Today for our video, we are doing a discussion-based video, and I'm really excited about getting to do this. I love getting to chat with you guys and read your comments with your points of view and your perspective on situations. It's really fun for me to get to find out what other people think, and I feel like it really broadens my horizon as well. These are going to be weekly videos that I do where we discuss topics that you have requested on my Facebook fan page. This is just a sheet of questions that you guys have left for me on my Facebook fan page. I won't be answering all of these in this video, but I will be doing a video every week on Tuesday where I tackle topics that you guys have requested on my Facebook fan page. If you would like to voice your opinion or ask me any sort of question or ask me to explain anything, feel free to hop on over to my Facebook fan page, which I will have linked down below, and voice your opinions or voice your questions. These videos are also going to be posted with a journal entry that I will be writing on Vampire Freak's website. I was contacted by Vampire Freaks to start doing these weekly videos where I talk about anything that you guys would have of interest, and I write a journal entry about it, and this will always be put out on Tuesdays. So I'm also going to have Vampire Freaks linked down below in the description bar, the journal entry, so you guys can see what I write along with these videos. I promise that my writing is entertaining and it won't feel like you're reading a textbook. And the grammar probably won't be as beautiful as a textbook, but I like to write and I like to ham it up, so I hope that you guys will enjoy whatever I end up spewing out of my mind as word vomit. The first question I have is, what was it like your first time going out as goth? My first time going out as goth, let's see, so it was kind of a gradual process. I didn't do it all in one sweep. I had started working at a store called Victoria's Secret, and if you guys know what that is, it is a lingerie store, and at this time frame whenever I was working there, a part of their dress code was wearing all black everything with black high heels, and so that was what originally initiated me into wearing all black. During the same time frame, I had just started reading the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice, so I was very intrigued with vampires and I found them super lush and interesting. So with my outfits that I would do for Victoria's Secret, I tried to find ways to make them look vampy or to kind of have this overall vampire vibe, and I really loved the aesthetic and how it made me feel. Fast forward a little bit more and I started seeing more people that were dressing goth. Now, whenever I was in high school, the internet wasn't quite the same as it is now. We had internet, obviously, but I don't feel like I used it as much. I didn't have my own laptop. The difference between the internet now and the internet whenever I was in high school is that now I have my own laptop, my cell phone, my smartphone. I can search anything I want on the internet on that phone, and it's just much more readily available. Whenever I was in high school, my mom had a computer and we had a computer in the living room, but that was about it, and I was only allowed to be on the computer in the living room 30 minutes every day, and after those 30 minutes I had to go do something else around the house. And this was throughout all of high school, and in my junior year, whenever I moved out of my mother's house, I didn't have a computer at all for my junior and senior year, and I just used the high school computer to do stuff. So needless to say, the whole goth subculture was kind of shrouded in mystery, and I didn't understand it and I didn't know what it was really. And the goth kids in my high school are not like goth kids you would expect. Well, maybe they are, but whenever I was in high school, goth kids were wearing the big baggy trip pants that looked like raver pants. They were just baggy and black with like neon colors like neon green or neon orange, and they had these giant chains hanging off of them, and like they would all wear oversized baggy black shirts, and they usually had like really long hair that was super greasy, and there was this one kid that would wear white contacts to school every day, and he had like a super long trench coat that was by Trip, and it had tons of chains and all kinds of flair all over it. To me though, I'm not into that aesthetic. I didn't understand it, and I didn't really have an interest in it, and a lot of those kids were very standoffish. So my perception of goth was very elementary. It wasn't like I understood it or that I knew where it came from or what it was. So as far as my progression into goth, I feel like of course I've told you guys the story, like my babysitter was super goth and punk, and so I was really pulled into like alternative styles, and I already kind of had that going for me. And then once I started working at Victoria's Secret, the dress code was all black. So I would wear all black all the time, and that eventually adopted into my everyday style, where I would wear all black every day, even outside of work, because I really liked the way it made me feel, and I loved the aesthetic and the color. It just felt very much like it belonged on my skin. So the progression just kind of started from me working at Victoria's Secret and taking the dress code outside of work and still wearing the all black dress code outside of work because I really loved how sleek it looked. Fast forward a little bit, I got an office job, and whenever I got this office job, I met a guy that was from the 80s that was like super into the goth subculture, and he started trying to have a conversation to me about The Cure, and I had no idea what he was talking about, and of course he was super shocked that I didn't know. So he let me borrow his Cure CD. He let me borrow also the Crow soundtrack, which that opened my eyes because there's the Thrill Kill Cult was on there, 9 Inch Nails obviously, and man, there were a couple bands on there. The Cure was obviously on there too, and I think there were a couple other bands, but from him letting me borrow the Cure CD, I ended up going out and buying more Cure CDs, and I would turn on the Cure on my Pandora station, which opened my eyes to more stuff. And then I found out that one of the songs on the Crow soundtrack was a cover of a Joy Division song. So then I looked into Joy Division, and I loved Joy Division. So from Joy Division, I looked into more bands like them from Wikipedia, and I found Bauhaus, and oh man, I fell in love with Bauhaus right away. And from Bauhaus, I jumped on their little rabbit trail, and I found like Tones on Tell, Love and Rockets, and it kind of just kept happening like that very progressively, where I was like finding more bands by branching out. Like I would find one band I liked, and then I'd look up a Wikipedia article on them, and then I'd, like on the side column it'll say bands that are also affiliated, and then I would just kind of hop from there, and I kind of weaved in and out and found all the bands that I really love and adore today. Anyways, so the question was, what was it like your first time going out as goth? Sorry, I just got on this huge rabbit trail. The reason I brought up finding the music and stuff is because that opened my eyes to the post-punk subculture, and I started seeing photos of how people dressed in the 80s, and I really wanted to replicate that and make that come across. And whenever I first started dressing officially goth, where it wasn't just like me wearing demonia boots and an all-black outfit and calling myself goth, and it was more so me understanding the history of where it came from and really trying to channel this 80s post-punk vibe. The first time I did that and I went out was whenever I had moved back in with my mom from Hollywood, California, and my mom actually refused to be seen out in public with me, and I would go out in my small town in my all goth stuff, and people would stare at me strange, but I was like so proud of what I was wearing, and I was so proud of what it represents and the history behind it that I didn't even care that people were staring at me, because all I was thinking about were these awesome artists that paved the way, and like all these amazing musicians that had found a way to connect with my soul and connect with things that I was thinking, that instead of being embarrassed of how I looked, I was really proud, because it kind of felt like I was wearing like this badge of honor. Like I just felt like really proud and stoked, and I feel like that radiated off of me, because I usually got compliments, more compliments than rude comments, but I still got pretty rude comments. hope that kind of answers what my first time going out in goth was like. I was just really excited to be wearing goth things and understanding fully where it came from, and just I felt more complete, whereas before like whenever I was in the Victoria's Secret uniform wearing demonia boots and stuff, I feel like with that I was like channeling this whole vampire thing, and like I was super obsessed with Lestat, so I was like trying to really channel that. But then once I found out like post-punk music, and once I found out about like new romantic style and everything, that just totally opened Pandora's box, and I felt way more proud, and I just felt like I was connecting with all these great musicians and artists, and it felt like I was a living piece of art. And still to this day I feel like I'm a living, breathing piece of art, and I'm really proud of what I wear and the time I put into what I do, and being associated with all of these creative people that are also involved in the subculture. So the next questions on here were, did you slowly get into being goth, or did you go to school, work one day all gothed out, and was it scary at first? Which I feel like I answered all of that in my big giant explanation of the first one, so that worked out pretty well. Just a recap real quick. Did you slowly get into goth, or did you go to school, work one day all gothed out? It was a slow progression from Victoria's Secret wearing the all black to demonia boots to actually studying post-punk and new romantic music and finding out what it actually encompassed and what it really was and the real definition of goth. And then from that point on, after studying photos and being really intrigued, it definitely was a slow progression, because after that point I actually started channeling things a lot better. Was it scary at first? It wasn't scary, because I was really proud of I was proud to wear what I was wearing because of all the photos of people I had seen, and I found them so beautiful and awesome, and what they stood for was amazing, and the art they made, the music they made, the literature they made, the artwork they made was just so inspiring to me that instead of me being embarrassed, I was really proud, because I felt like I was one of them, and I felt like this is me and this is all I am. So I was not embarrassed. I very much was like, you know, if someone doesn't like this or they don't like what they're seeing, well, they can take it or leave it. This is who I am, and if they have a problem with it, then that's their problem and it's not mine. And I'm not going to live my life for other people. You only get to live for a very short time on this earth, unfortunately. I believe in reincarnation, but in this body and in this form, you only get to be on earth for a very short time. So you might as well live it up and live it the way you want to live it. Fuck the invisible rules and fuck what other people have to say. If you aren't hurting anyone and you're happy and you feel fully complete in who you are, then that is all that matters, because you should never live your life for someone else, where whenever you end up on your deathbed, you think about things. You should never be laying there thinking about, man, I wish I did this, man, I wish I did that. You really need to do all of that right now in your youth, or even when you're an adult, and even like before any of the time where you're stuck on your deathbed. You need to go out and do all these things. And even whenever you are on your deathbed, who's to say that you still can't write an epic novel, or you can't create amazing artwork? I think you should live every day to the fullest until it's that final day. And that's how I want to live my life. I want to live every day to the absolute fullest, where once I pass away, I won't have unfinished business. I will have done everything that I set out to do in this time frame. I'm gonna answer one more question because I feel like it pertains to what I just spoke about, and it's, how did you meet other goths in your area? Once the slow progression happened of me being into post-punk music and goth music and finding out about new romantic style and new wave, everything like was snowballing, and I was really stoked on it, and I wanted to start reaching out and finding more people that were interested in this. And this is whenever I started my YouTube channel. And so I started my YouTube channel, and I was really stoked to get to connect with more goth people, share knowledge, and learn more from the scene. I've deleted all of my videos that were from like 2010, 2009, 2010. I deleted all of those because they were kind of like cringe-worthy for me to watch. So I deleted them with the ambition to recover the topics of those videos that I deleted. and I've been doing so for the past little while. But my first thing that I did to try to get connected to people in the community was I made my YouTube channel, and I was reaching out and trying to make friends that way. I also started a Vampire Freaks account, and I started trying to connect with people on there. And then on Facebook, I was trying to find Facebook groups with goth kids. I went to goth clubs all over LA, but I didn't really know about post-punk music, and I didn't really know about the goth history that much, but I knew that I loved goth clubs. So the first time that I actually was going to goth clubs with the knowledge of what goth was and what the goth bands were was whenever I was back in my small town, and my friend Bria agreed to go with me, which took the edge off of being nervous of meeting new people. So you could always have someone come with you to the goth club so you don't feel quite as scared or intimidated, and just go there, dance, have fun, talk to people at the bar, and just chat, and I guarantee you'll end up making friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this little discussion video. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what it was like your first time dressing goth. Did you slowly progress into it, or was it just one day you were wearing all goth everything and you were living the life with your bat wings flown high, or maybe you were born into the goth life? Feel free to let me know down below. I love reading your responses and what you guys have to say. Check out my journal entry as well, that will be along with this video. I'll have lots of fun things included in it, and I'll probably include some photos in there as well, if I can. I've never posted on Vampire Freaks before a journal entry, so it'll be fun. I'll make it fun. I'll have that linked down below. Please check it out and let me know what you think. I will be talking with you guys on Vampire Freaks as well. So if you can't get a hold of me here on YouTube, you can go to my Facebook fan page, or you can go to my Vampire Freaks, and I will be able to connect with you there as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be talking to you again very, very soon. I love you. Be safe. Tschüss. Tschüssi.